Hebrews 9 1 to 10. The earthly sanctuary and its passing order. The writer of Epistle to the Hebrews turns attention to the structure and function of the first covenant, describing it not merely as history, but as a system divinely appointed for a time that was drawing to its close. He begins, Then verily, the first covenant had also ordinances of divine service and a worldly sanctuary. The emphasis rests on both its legitimacy and its limitation. It was ordained by God, yet it belonged to the created order, earthly, tangible, and temporary. The tabernacle is then set forth in detail. There was a first compartment, the holy place, containing the lampstand, the table, and the bread of the presence. Beyond the veil lay the most holy place, containing the golden altar of incense and the ark of the covenant, overshadowed by cherubim of glory. These were not random furnishings. They were theological structures, visible patterns of an invisible reality. The writer recounts how the priests entered regularly into the first section, performing their service continually. But into the second, the high priest alone entered, and that only once a year, not without blood, which he offered for himself and for the errors of the people. This arrangement was not merely ritual, it was restriction. Access was limited, mediated, and incomplete. Then comes the interpretive key, the Holy Spirit, this signifying. These arrangements were not ends in themselves. They were signs, divine indicators pointing beyond themselves. The way into the holiest was not yet made manifest while the first tabernacle was still standing. As long as that system remained in force, full access remained concealed. The entire structure functioned as a figure, a parable for the time then present. Gifts and sacrifices were offered, yet they could not perfect the conscience of the worshiper. They dealt with external matters, foods, drinks, washings, and fleshly ordinances imposed until a time of reformation. This time of reformation was not vague or indefinite. It marked a decisive transition, a moment when what was symbolic would give way to what was substantive, when what was provisional would yield to what was complete. The insufficiency of the old order is not a criticism of its origin, but a revelation of its purpose. It was never designed to bring. Its repeated sacrifices testified to its incompleteness. Its barriers testified to its distance. Its rituals testified to its anticipation. The conscience remained unperfected because the system itself was not the goal. It was preparatory. It pointed forward. Thus, the earthly sanctuary, with all its ordinances, stood as a structured testimony that access was not yet open, that completion had not yet arrived, and that something greater was necessary. And so the passage leaves us standing at the threshold, between the shadow and the substance, between the repeated and the finished, between the imposed and the fulfilled, awaiting the unveiling of that which would bring true and final access beyond the veil.